going on, everybody? This is Dave, back on the show floor, NAB 2019. I'm here with Billy Chitkin, and I've got a couple questions for you. Number one, you're a Redshift guy, right?
Yep, big fan.
Your website is?
Gernge.com, spelled G-E-R-N-G-E. I'm a Cinema 4D freelancer, big on Redshift, animation, modeling, texturing, all the usual stuff.
And you've been working on tons of Redshift projects, and Maxon made the announcement today. They bought Redshift. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm super excited. I started using Redshift initially in, I think it was maybe the summer of 2017 when the Cinema 4D plugin was still in alpha. I immediately fell in love with it. I had already had the GPU hardware to leverage the really fast render times, and I think the announcement of the acquisition is potentially really, really awesome. A few things that jump out as maybe some really beneficial things that we'll get. The new node system from R20 in physical render is a little bit neglected because physical render is not as hot as all these fancy third-party render engines. So hopefully we get support for that, and by we I mean the Redshift Cinema 4D community. And then possibly also the native Cinema 4D noises is probably the most exciting thing because most of us, either Octane or Redshift users, we've got what, 4 noise shaders?
Not a lot of options.
Right, and in comparison to all the flexibility that the native noises offer, I mean, it's almost unlimited. You can do virtually anything you need to with those noises, and the fact that hopefully, fingers crossed, they are now an out-of-the-box, or will be an out-of-the-box supported by Redshift. I don't think I could express how exciting that possibility is. So yeah, I think that sort of wraps up at least the immediate. We only heard about the acquisition only a few hours ago, so I'm sure I'll be tossing and turning tonight and thinking of even more exciting stuff.
We're waiting to hear all the details now, hopefully over the next few months or so.
Yeah, and with most acquisitions go, news can sometimes be slow to roll out. So I think we should try to rein in our expectations. I don't know. I don't have any insider knowledge. It's probably not going to be free all of a sudden. So I would imagine there's not going to be a whole lot of crazy, disruption as far as either pricing or support.
Yeah, so far it's business as usual.
Yeah, and they explain that pretty clearly, I feel like, on the Redshift forum, to kind of assuage the non-C4D Redshift users, from, say, Houdini or Maya or whatever. It's like, it's still going to be a plugin available to everybody, and the beautiful thing about Redshift is if you do buy it for one, you get it for all the programs, which is, you can't ask for anything more.
True. I wanted to talk to you a little bit, too, about your shared space, because a lot of contractors, individual sole proprietors, are starting to team up with other contractors and do shared spaces, and you've done that as well. So tell everybody about that.
Yeah, so back home where I'm from, we have an office in Detroit, just slightly outside of the downtown portion of the city on a cool area called Corktown. It's really awesome, little spot to be in, but as you said, a lot of independent or freelance, artists, we work at home, usually alone, or, maybe we've got a pet to keep us company throughout the day or whatever, but a handful of friends and I we found ourselves all in that same situation last summer, and, an opportunity came up for us to all get a shared room to freelance out of, and for the time being, we all act independently from one another, but, being in a room next to one another, you get up and go get a drink or something, and you see somebody RAM previewing something on another screen, and you offer like, oh, well, what if it did, this little, whatever weird little animation thing, or like, oh, what if you try this or try that, and we help each other out when we're stuck, or if we have overflow work, we pass stuff to one another, and it works like. We're also happy, I think, with the setup,
And it's in a school, right, or a former school?
Yeah, it used to be like a religious middle school from some I don't know, archdiocese or like a Lutheran school system or something like that, decades ago. So all the hallways are still, all the lockers are in, along the walls, and each room has like what room it used to be, like the homemaking class or the biology room or whatever. So it's a fun little spot to be in. The bathrooms are called the girls and boys bathrooms as opposed to women and men. So it's a fun little spot. We kind of skateboard through the halls and just make it a cool, fun spot to be in.
Awesome. Now, I also wanted to ask you about Camp Mograph. Have you been hearing about that?
Yeah, there's definitely some rumblings. If you're not aware, there's something brewing later in the year. I think like first week of October timeline, something like that. It sounds like a lot of fun. It's the idea of some sort of motion graphics conference or get together meetup where it's not necessarily only like presentations or speakers on stage. You're hanging out around like campfires, or you're doing activities out in the wild, like, I don't know,
Hiking with Casey Hupke or something, or jogging with EJ. I don't know.
I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful venue, out in the nice, beautiful wilderness, not too remote, but certainly scenic and beautiful, and maybe a nice opportunity for people to unplug for a couple days and get away from being in front of so many screens for 48 or 72 hours or something kind of in that.
Well, we're going to have some more information too, campmograph.com here pretty soon, and so just stay tuned to that. You can watch the promo video. Have you seen the promo video?
Oh, dude, I saw that, and it felt, I'm a little bit younger, but I still have a good recollection of, like kind of the PSA sort of.
The 80s.
Yeah, and that stuff bleeding into the 90s, and as far as I can tell, it hit the nostalgia factor, really good. So
Good. I guess it worked then. Yeah. All right. So again, Billy Chitkin. That's gurge.com. Correct?
Yep.
All right. So check him out. We're gonna get out of here. We got a lot more interviews. This is Mograph.com iDesign mashup on the show floor, NAB 2019. We'll see you later.